you want your cEDH deck to be like Optimus Prime?
I'll take you all on. Piece of tin.
Yes, you do want your cEDH deck to be like Optimus Prime. Fucking 1v3, okay? Let's see how we can make that happen. When you think of a really good cEDH player and a really good cEDH deck, the ceiling for how well they can perform and what they can do is extremely high compared to a newer player, a less experienced player. And agency, speed, consistency, and pivotability is why that ceiling can reach so high. How cEDH is my deck? People ask me all the time when reviewing people's lists, where does this line up in the meta? How powerful is this cEDH deck compared to other decks? And today I wanted to kind of go over in my mind what I'm thinking of when I look at someone's list or my own list. The very first thing on here is agency and negative agency. Agency is the ability to make meaningful decisions that determine the outcome of a game. Negative agency is similar, but instead of determining the outcome of the game in your favor, it's determining the outcome of the game in one of your opponent's favors. So if you think about agency, what is that? When triggers go on the stack, are you able to respond to them when you need to? Does your deck pressure the table? Do people have to mulligan for interaction versus you? Are you able to win stack battles? Are you able to force draws when needed to prevent king making? And can you protect your own win? So these are all things I think of under the umbrella of agency. Of course, there's probably a lot more. But as a starter, to understand how much agency your deck gives you, you want to answer these questions truthfully to yourself and maybe get some perspectives from other people that you play with on how much agency your deck gives. If you feel like you can rate your deck between 1 and 5, 1 and 10 on how much agency you are given, and if you want to look at a really powerful agency deck list, think of Blue Farm, think of Clue Farm, think of 5-color good stuff decks. Those have what I would call max agency. And then you can think of like monocolor decks as super low agency. All right, now we have speed and explosivity. Now the window of opportunity, how fast you can put a win on the stack, and can you put a win on the stack when it's not your turn? So speed is just, do I win? How quickly can I win? And then to be able to explode through that window is kind of the explosion side of things. So a lot of decks maybe can only win on their turn. So you might have the speed, but you don't have that explosion to do it, to shoot the gap, or to go through that window to get to the win whenever those windows open up. Because a lot of times that window of opportunity to win the game isn't necessarily going to be only on your turn. It's going to be on other people's turn, and preferably on other people's turn when they're trying to win or when someone else is trying to win. So you want to think of how fast is my deck, how explosive is my deck, and then how explosive is it when it's on other people's turns. The next thing is pivoting. So does your deck only have one win line? Probably a bad deck. Is there 1 or 2 cards that could be played by an opponent that says you basically can't win? Probably a bad deck. Or you need to have multiple ways to get rid of that interaction that screws you over. So how well do you pivot? If your Thoracle gets taken out and it's exiled, do you have a Breach backup? If your Breach is gone, your Thoracle's gone, what else do you have? Do you have a Dual Caster Mage combo you can do to win the game? Like, what's your next play? Typically, in my mind, I try to have 5-ish ways to win, but not all decks are that flexible. 3 is plenty. If you have 3 ways to win the game, you should be doing really well. Consistency, being extremely repeatable with opening hands. Your turn 1 play, your turn 2 play, your plan is clear. Your turn 3 play, you should be a threat at the table. And then how consistent is your agency, speed, explosivity, and pivotability? So how consistent can you do these things, like explode on other people's turns, or pivot when people get rid of one of your win cons? How much agency do you have from game to game to game also needs to be in your mindset when choosing how powerful this cEDH deck list is that you're playing. And I guess the why we do this, why we need to know these things, is because agency, speed, and pivots, as well as consistency, is to combat RNG throughout the game, such as deck shuffling, turn order, and your opponents. The best way to beat your opponents is to have all of this flexibility and these resources in your mind as you go into deck crafting to make sure that you're ready to consistently beat things that are tossed your way to disrupt your win. And RNG can absolutely destroy the fun in games. So these are the ways to beat RNG. This is why it's so important that you build a deck that has these qualities in it. So our next video that I'm going to talk about is going to be rating cEDH decks from amazing top tier all the way down to fringe. If you want to see that, go ahead and like and subscribe. That'll definitely be a fun one. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.